All right, let's begin with the news this morning. It looks like they've got an agreement on the bailout program. The outline of it, at least, will have greater details before the end of the day. Is Senator McCain happy with what he's hearing about it?
He's happy that there appears to be a framework completed. Earlier in the week, when Senator McCain came back to Washington, there had been no deal reached. All the financial experts in both parties were saying that this could be an economic catastrophe if by Monday morning, if the markets opened without a deal done. What Senator McCain was able to do was to help bring all of the parties to the table, including the House Republicans, whose votes were needed to pass this. So it appears that great progress has been made. We look forward to, Senator McCain looks forward to reading the fine print of this, but it does appear that great progress has been made overnight.
But has he been making specific suggestions about what needs to be in this bill? When he came back on Friday, the House Republicans said to him, this won't fly because we want an insurance program, not just a buyout.
It does appear that there will be insurance as part of the final package, but importantly, Senator McCain laid out a number of principles, saying, for example, that CEOs cannot benefit from taxpayer dollars, the CEOs of these firms who have ripped off the American people, that there be oversight, that there be accountability. Those principles appear to be contained in the legislation, but what Senator McCain was able to do, the reason he suspended his campaign, the reason he came back to Washington, was to help get all of the parties to the table. There had been announcements by Senate leaders saying that a deal had been reached earlier in the week. There were no votes for that deal. Senator McCain knew time was short, and he came back, he listened, and he helped put together the framework of getting everybody to the table, which was necessary to produce a package to avoid a financial catastrophe for this country.
Mr. Axelrod, I think it's fair to say you have a skeptical expression on your face. Your candidate left Mississippi, however, and resumed campaigning. He didn't come back to Washington. Has his role in this been primarily as a man who's been getting information from Democrats on the Hill?
Well, I'll tell you what his role has been from the beginning. He's been in touch with Secretary Paulson, Chairman Bernanke, the leaders of Congress, and he is the one who's been urging these principles that Steve has now embraced today. The fact is, when this crisis emerged, Senator McCain's first reaction was to say the economy is fundamentally strong. The next day he suggested a commission to study this, and by 8 days later he said it was such a crisis that he was going to suspend his campaign. Showed up a day later in Washington. It isn't clear what his role was, so it's a little bit of fiction to now claim credit for it. That's not the important thing, though. The important thing is that the principles that Senator Obama outlined originally are now embraced, and taxpayers will be protected.
So what role did you play? How were you helpful, do you believe, in the process?
I will let you and others be the judge of that. I did the best that I could. I came back because I wasn't going to phone it in. America's in a crisis of almost unprecedented proportions. I should be doing whatever little I can to help this process. I'm a Teddy Roosevelt Republican. I got to get in the arena when America needs it. And if that judgment wants to be made, that whether I helped or hurt, I'll be glad to accept the judgment of history. But I'm never going to not get engaged when the taxpayers and middle class of America are in danger of losing everything literally that they've worked all their lives for. I'm going to be out working on it. I won't claim a bit of credit, okay, if that makes them feel better. But I'm going to be there working and trying to help solve this crisis. And I'm proud of John Boehner and Roy Blunt and Adam Putnam and all of the guys and men and women, Marsha Blackburn and others, who in the House of Representatives stood up and got into this negotiations and became part of the solution.